Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did have a good Thanksgiving.
Where did you go?
I went to Alabama to see my brother and his 3 boys and his wife, and Ben and Vince, the boyfriend and the son, came with me. We had a great time. 6-hour drive.
Did you have turkey or Gaegogi? and is what is it, half Korean?
Half Korean, and Brian's a bit of a racist, but that's okay. He did live in Korea, so I guess that gives him a little leeway.
I was in Korea for a year and a half.
To make some Korean jokes. We actually had both, if you must know.
Korea is a part of me. I was there. I lived there for a year and a half in the U.S. Army.
Very fragrant.
I stayed in the mess hall, stayed on post mostly. Avoided the
you big chicken.
The fermented kimchi and
hey, listen, it is delicious.
And the dog.
It is for everyone, and it's
They
healthy.
do serve dog though, don't they?
And as we do the keto diet, you can eat kimchi.
Anyway, we've got some big news that happened over the break.
Huge.
Big news.
All right.
But first, a few housekeeping items.
Okay.
Did you see the big fundraising reports that came out for October?
I did.
Kind of right before Thanksgiving break, it kind of came out, and there was a day or so, a few days to absorb them before the Thanksgiving break. But there was some news in there. And those fundraising reports are raising eyebrows, at least here inside Tallahassee, where the professional political class keeps close tabs on those things. Adam Putnam, running for governor next year, added another $1.2 million to his fundraising total last month, bringing his grand total to $17 million raised so far.
But he spent some of that.
He spent some. He doesn't have $17 million just in a bag. He spent some of it. He's got a couple of million or so that he's laid out already for different things. He's still got about $14 or $15 million in the bank, which honestly still isn't a lot of money if he wants to make a statewide television buy that will cost about $5 million a pop or so. Sure. But it's a lot more than anyone else in the race at the moment. A lot more. And Adam Putnam is in the driver's seat right now. That's because he's got enough cash to start laying the groundwork necessary for turning out his base. He's building a field operation, identifying his voters, organizing volunteers, all of the things that take time, talent, and resources. So if you compare that situation to where Bill McCollum was in 2009, around the same time 2 election cycles ago, over the final 6 months of that year, Bill McCollum had only raised $2.3 million, which is just nothing compared to where Putnam is.
He lost, so maybe Putnam learned.
And get this, McCollum in 2009 actually trailed the Democrat Alex Sink by $2 million at this point 8 years ago. So world of difference between 2018 and 2010.
Right.
So Putnam's in the driver's seat, that's the bottom line. His only real declared competition at this point, Jack Latvala, is playing defense against sexual harassment allegations, and that investigation won't be complete for a while yet.
But we're talking about at least 1 to 2 undeclared candidates.
There are a couple other folks out there, and they're lurking out there. It's a good word for it.
Lurking?
Lurking. It sort of implies that they're just kind of, hanging around, not doing much else.
Richard Corcoran isn't doing much?
Corcoran has posted some very impressive fundraising numbers last month.
$375,000 compared to 1.2 of Putnam's?
Those very impressive for an attorney general candidate.
Did he tell you this? He's running for attorney general?
No, he's a governor's candidate, but he's not going to be a governor's candidate for long, not with those numbers. He's prohibited from raising money in January and February. And I just don't know how he's going to be able to pull it off if he doesn't start getting some bigger numbers and posting some more impressive totals. Because while it might be those impressive totals for an attorney general race, it's just not even close for a governor's race.
So you don't think he has a game plan? I mean, it's Richard Corcoran.
I don't like to name drop or anything like that, but I may or may not have had dinner with someone very high up in Corcoran's organization recently. Tony Fabrizio. Excuse me.
I'm sorry, you were coughing. Did you say Tony Fabrizio?
It's just a little cough. Anyway, it's a highly placed, very secret source, and he assures me, did I say he?
You said he.
He or she.
Right.
Assures me that Corcoran has a fundraising plan. It's a very aggressive fundraising plan.
But he didn't share this plan with you.
Well, not exactly.
Okay.
I mean, he didn't give me the full dog and pony show or anything like that. This secret source of mine. But my understanding is that the prohibition against Corcoran raising money for his Watchdog PAC just bans him from asking for donations while session is going on. That doesn't mean other people couldn't go around, for example, with a laptop and some very impressive polling results or a PowerPoint presentation explaining why donors should write a check to
focus groups, that kind of stuff.
Right, Richard Corcoran instead of Adam Putnam. So I don't know that this lockdown on fundraising is really going to be all that much of a prohibition for Corcoran to raise money, but he does have to start doing it, and he's going to have to do it soon. Because if he doesn't make some impressive moves, he's just not going to get out of the starting gate. Same thing with Ron DeSantis. These guys have a ton of work to do and very little time to do it. They can't follow the Rick Scott model and parachute into the race at the last minute.
The Rick Scott model, meaning the ability to write a check for anything needed by a campaign.
Correct. Scott could afford to wait until the last minute to get into the governor's race and buy an organization, buy name ID, buy attack ads, buy instant credibility with the Republican base. Neither Richard Corcoran nor Ron DeSantis are going to have the financial resources needed to define Adam Putnam as effectively as they think.
But none of this really matters because we have another candidate lurking, as we like to say, John Morgan.
Which John Morgan are you talking about?
John Morgan of Morgan and Morgan and Morgan and Morgan and Morgan.
I knew that. You know I knew that. I was just teasing. Yeah, that's the big news. I mean, he announced that he left the party while we were sort of all on Thanksgiving break and having dog or turkey or whatever it was we were eating. John Morgan was leaving the Democratic Party, and the question is, why did he do that?
You should tell me. Tell me why.
I don't know why he left, but I'll speculate. I think it's because the Florida Democratic Party has become a bizarre reflection of liberal safe space thinking, and John Morgan of Morgan and Morgan knows he can't survive in that kind of leftist environment.
You're not saying he's too creepy for the Democrats, are you? Is that the implication? Creepy?
For modern Democrats, sure. I mean, they just ran their chairman out of the party for leering at people and giving them the creeps. I mean, the poor guy didn't even touch anybody. So if that's the new standard, does John Morgan of Morgan and Morgan even stand a chance? I mean, look at him. He looks like a living bobblehead doll.
Two things. He's never going to come on this show.
Okay.
And he looks like a Furby. I think he looks like a Furby doll.
Okay.
He looks like a Furby doll.
Okay. I think okay.
That big chubby cheeks.
So now he's definitely never coming on the show. Now that we've established that. No, truthfully, we make fun of everybody on this show, right?
Right.
And people make fun of
No,
me.
you
It's
do.
all good.
You do. That's the first time I've made fun of anybody. You make fun of everybody.
He does look like a Furby.
He does look like a Furby.
There's a slight resemblance to a Furby. But anyway, we make fun of a lot of people on the show. Which brings me to Nick Wiley, who was on his way out at the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission, a post he has held since 2009. He's taken a job with Tennessee-based Ducks Unlimited, where he'll almost certainly be expected to grow a beard like Uncle Si.
Point of clarification. Uncle Si is from Duck Dynasty, not Ducks Unlimited.
What's the difference?
The name of two completely and utterly different organizations.
Again, I know, but how am I supposed to make the joke if I can't? I gotta make fun of Nick. Nick should have told me. Nick, you should have told me you were leaving, so I could have done a little something with it. I have my own publication. I said I had to read about it somewhere else. Anyway, I needed an excuse to poke fun at him, and that's why we make the thing.
We took a shot.
I love Nick, and he'll be missed. In a minute, we'll be right back to talk with Democrat strategist Kevin Cate about Mr. Bobblehead and some of the recent developments on the Democratic side of the 2018 election cycle. We'll be right back after this commercial break.